kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
Welcome everybody to Sim Racing Media. Tonight we are live from Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the SCL Winston Cup Racing League. I am Mike Demoni, joined by Zach Woods. Zach, how's it going, man?
It's going pretty good. I'm really excited to be up here in the booth with you tonight to cover some SCL action here at Indy. It's the oval, so we're going to be treated to something very familiar when it comes to track discipline, and I'm excited to get this thing going.
Yeah, these guys have been definitely logging the laps. We've got Michael Caffrey with the fastest lap so far, but not too far off is Justin Lewis, so we'll see how these guys navigate their way around the track. Last we were across the sea there over at Twin Ring Motegi, and Ryan Kelly put on a dominating performance. He led 94 of the 100 laps. So I don't think I see him in here tonight, so that is good news for everybody else, I believe, as they'll be battling out there. Justin Lewis led a lap, got second place. Mike Peters rounded out that top three. So that is how they finished a couple weeks ago. But it is a new week and a new track.
Yeah, and the big storyline for SCL Cup action is all season long, of course, has been the overabundance of rookies that have found their way into the Cup level, and SCL has kind of turned into a bit of a mixed bag here, Mike, with these drivers struggling to figure out how one another race, and it's caused for a lot of cautions week in and week out with some Cup Series action. At a place like Indianapolis, these guys are going to be able to really have some breathing room, right? This is a wide racetrack. The turns are even spread apart from each other. These drivers have plenty of racing room to act nicely tonight and really figure one another out. But the question will be is, are we going to see a SCL veteran like Austin Call or a Joshua Yarborough, Barrett Flo? We haven't even talked about Maxwell Caldwell, the two-time defending champ. Is it going to be one of those individuals who know how to get around in SCL Cup competition, or will a rookie surprise us tonight? I'm looking at the speed charts right now, Mike, and rookie Chad Jones is third on the charts in that 75 Chevrolet. So I'm very interested to see how this one's going to shake out.
Yeah, definitely. You know, we're working on week 5. And we've had 4 different winners. Ryan Kelly, like I said, Adam Lowe won one, Lilith Peters, Tillman Hewer. All won races. So we'll see if we can maybe get a 2-time winner here, or if it's going to be somebody new once again.
Yeah, and we're going to get set up here, getting ready for qualifying. And here is Lilith Peters, that 101 machine coming out here. And it's been a bit of a tear here for Lilith as of late. Seems like every time we go and cover some SCL Cup action, that machine always finds itself up front. And I don't think this week we are going to have a lack of the 101 up front. I think at a racetrack like this, where you can be really patient, okay. Well, I've never jinxed somebody on qualifying, but there you go, Mike. I was talking Lilith up, and I'm not quite sure what happened.
That's okay. I believe last week she had a little bit of rough go in the qualifying as well. Well, 2 weeks ago, she had a little bit of rough going in the qualifying as well, but she was up front for quite a bit of the race there. So we'll definitely see what these guys can do as they try and get some laps here. Looks like Chad Jones is the first one, almost the first one to get started on his qualifying lap. Everybody else is still almost on their out laps here. Adam Lowe, a little over halfway through his first lap, trying to get a good qualifying time here.
It's really important to get a good qualifying run here because the passing zones here at Indianapolis, as you can see, Mike, up into the fence there, or Adam rather, up there in the fence. The passing zones here are few and far between. You really have to set up your passes on the exits of 2 and 4 in order to get a big run down each straightaway to size up your passes. So to pass one driver could take about half a lap to manufacture. So we're going to have to see where some of these heavy hitters come out when it comes to qualifying.
Yeah, Barrett Flo had his first lap of a 53.04, but Matt Schlosser came out with his first lap with a 52.83 and jumped clear up on pole.
I've been really surprised of Matt Schlosser this season. We saw some select races from Matt, I believe, last season, and Matt's been very consistent in terms of overall speed. As here I am talking up a driver and he scuffs the wall coming there, but Matt's been pretty quick everywhere we go. A new paint scheme, at least new for me up here in the booth, so good to see that 400 Chevrolet repping something different.
Austin Call took the pole with a 52.81, and Matthew McMeekin jumped up there with a 52.71, and Lilith Peters battles back after the first little hiccup with a 52.70.
You know, that's a pretty bold thing to do, Mike, to beat a commentator's curse happening in live action, and then to come back and set the fastest time. So I would just say that Lilith has to be the favorite. If if you're out doing what the powers that be can throw at you here in qualifying, I don't think there's too much that's going to get to you during the race.
No, and then Justin Lewis goes out and basically blows the doors off that time with a 52.47. So,
wow. What a lap by Justin Lewis. Holy smokes.
See if Lilith Peters can get that second lap. It was faster, but not quite fast enough, a 52.51, so she'll still be outside row one right now.
What a lap. 52.47.
Chris Vanderplat's got a little loose there with a 53.35 on his first one. Trying to
racing. looks like he's taking a breather here right before the start finish line. Photo op for Chris.
I think that's pretty much going to do it here. Justin Horton done. Chris Vanderplat's spun around there. Yeah, that will do it for qualifying. We're going to jump over into the race session. Let these guys get loaded into their cars and on the grid. We got 27 drivers with us tonight.
All right, guys, thanks for coming out.
Yeah, definitely a healthy field here this evening. Not enough to, of course, get a heat going. That's reserved for 40 drivers. But it looks like we're going to have a nice healthy field for the 65 lap event.
Caution comes out, slow down.
Let these guys get in their cars here. Looks like we're waiting on the front row at the moment.
Well, it's a mandatory 3-minute drivers meeting, so now's a great time, Mike, for us to take a look here at the starting lineup here for SCL Winston Cup Series action. Here from Indianapolis, we have Justin Lewis, of course. We talked about his blistering lap time at 52.47, followed by Lilith Peters there in second. Matthew McMeekin going to roll off third, and he is followed by the two-time champ, Maxwell Caldwell, in the fourth position. Isaac Love going to find his way all the way up in fifth, followed by Austin Call in sixth. Matt Schlosser will roll off seventh with Chad Jones beside him. Steven Johnson looks to continue what has been an up and down season for that 44 machine, rolling off ninth. And Joshua Yarborough will roll off 10th for tonight's running here at Indianapolis. Barrett Flo is flanked by Todd Merkel back there in 12th position, followed by Lee Campbell and Mike Peters out in row 7. Row 8 will feature Jeremy Flanagan along with Matt Metler coming into 16th position. Adam Lowe, followed by Trevor Dalton, a heavy hitter there in that 30 machine, stuck deep into the field tonight. And Justin Horton will be followed by Michael Caffrey in 20th.
21st is Chris Vanderplat's. Craig Forsyth just to his outside. We go Will Salomon and AJ Salomon, AJ Hobson and Jonathan Casebear, Casey Hatch and Bruno Latour, two rookies, round out the field. That's gonna be where they start. At the 07 of Justin Lewis did throw down that pretty quick lap there.
Some things to look out for. Oh, go ahead, Mike.
That's exactly what I was going to ask you. I was going to say, what should we be on the lookout for there?
We're on the same page. It's just we're reading the same sentence at the same time. So, yeah, there's a few things to look out for when it comes to racing here at Indianapolis. This track is abrasive and it will chew up tires very quickly. So these drivers are going to have to manage their tire wear and manage tempers, of course, as this race wears on. It's not a short track by any means. This is a 2.5-mile raceway here at Indy, and we're going to be experiencing some 3-mile-per-hour wind coming down the backstretch. But really, it is going to be a matter of, can these drivers respect one another for 65 laps around this track and put together a good showing for viewers out there. I know this league has it in them, and we are, of course, chugging along here when it comes to SCL competition. It's not like we're at the beginning of the season anymore. These drivers are going to have to put grudges aside and make sure that they play nice with one another, especially early on. As the field gets bunched up early, it will spread out as the run wears on, and then we're going to see comers and goers throughout tonight's event. If you run really hard at the beginning of the run, you can kiss that late run speed goodbye. We're going to have to see who manages tires well and who manages strategy well here at Indy.
Yeah, definitely going to have to do that. I mean, they're only laying 3 sets of tires in the pits, so it may come down to a tire strategy call. As you were saying, this track is very abrasive. We'll see these guys go back and forth. Some guys will elect to basically slow down early, let the track kind of come to them, and then once everybody else kind of wears off their tires, they'll be ready to make that run. So definitely something to look out for, like you were saying.
Couple favorites, as mentioned earlier, that are mired back in traffic. Barrett Flow will roll off 13th this evening. Taking a look also through the field, you have Trevor Dalton in the 30 Toyota, Mill, or Genuine Draft Toyota rather, rolling off deep into the field, 17th, 18th position back there. I'm going to be very curious to see how some of these drivers who we're so used to seeing up front manage this traffic early on, because if you run too hard early, you're going to get passed late.
Yeah, you might be feeling good for the first 5 or 10 laps, but after that, it's going to go away, and you're going to be wishing you kind of figured out where you should be and how to save some tires. But the first part of this race, I'm going to say that they're going to do exactly that. You know, kind of gauge their tire wear, figure out what's going on, because you only have 3 sitting in the pits, and if we do wind up having a bunch of cautions, I'm going to say it's going to come down to whoever has the freshest tires at the end of the race.
And you can really run hard here. I mean, the point it being is that, can you run hard and actually hit your marks, right? Because the in-between areas between both of these corners at opposite ends of this iconic racetrack can be treacherous. If your exit off of 1 or 3 is wrong, you're going to mess up the next corner. You just don't have enough time to adjust on that short little tiny, I want to say it's a straightaway, but it's not. Indianapolis is pretty much shaped like a rectangle, not necessarily a conventional oval, and yet if there's so much room for mistakes, and it'll all depend on your exit coming off of turns 1 and 3, setting up for good launches off of 2 and 4, where those big straightaways are here at Indy. So we up here in the booth are just trying to fill in some time before we start green, and looks like we're going to be rolling here at Indianapolis. Pace car is off. 2x2 goes SCL International Cup Series. It will be Justin Lewis in the 07 Chevrolet, flanked by Lilith Peters, and we are underway here at Indianapolis.
And Justin Lewis got a pretty good jump. Lilith Peters stays right with him after that push from Matthew McMeekin. Max Caldwell up into 3rd now.
Side by side they go here, trying to get a good launch off of the exit of the corner. Can Lewis slam the door? He does. And it looks like the front 2 are breaking away from the rest of the field.
Back here a little ways, looks like we got Chad Johnson, Yarborough, And even Steven Johnson back there kind of working around. Looks like the 2 of Todd Merkel there.
It's so important to find your groove early in these runs. You have to get what you can here early, but you also have to settle in and find your rhythm. As there's battles here in the mid-pack, there's also battles up front. Battling, I think, around for the 5th position or so. Yep, that's Austin Call fighting off Matthew McMeekin there on the high line. But look at these drivers right now trying to get everything they can out of their race cars here early on in the run.
Yeah, definitely want to get at least a couple positions here as we go back and look at Todd Merkel and just behind them. Trevor Dalton down to the inside. You mentioned that 30 machine. He's up 4 spots from where he started. So he is definitely on the move towards the front, trying to get as much as he can out of those fresh tires before he starts to lose that just a little bit.
We don't really talk about it too often, but we really should. Drafting is such a big key here at Indianapolis. You can already start to see some packs starting to form. If you lose touch on the next group in front of you, you're really going to need some help trying to catch up with the competition. These front 2 here have just checked out. Justin Lewis and Lilith Peters running away from the field.
Yeah, the last lap was a 52.73 for Lilith Peters. Maxwell Caldwell was a 53.16, so they are definitely on the move after they got hooked up there. And it looks like they have found each other at the perfect time, because they're running the exact same line. Usually, you know how you see it, like some Daytonas and plate tracks, they kind of bounce around. These guys are hooked up and they are not moving an inch.
Yes, and this group here about, let's see, 2, 4, 6 back here, all the way to that 75 City Chevrolet of Chad Jones. They're looking to set their sights here on the front 2. But right when I say that, there's a battle for position happening right in front of them. That's McMeekin trying to fend off a hard-charging Matt Schlosser.
The 18 there got a little bit loose of Austin Call. Made Schlosser and McMeekin check up just a little bit, but Schlosser back down to the inside, going to try and get a pass here.
I love this view down the backstretch. You just see the drivers snaking, weaving in and out of one another's draft, trying to break the flow so that they can create some distance between them and the competition. Looks like this battle for the 5th position is going to heat back up again with Schlosser. Good run off that corner. Now side by side with Austin Call for 5th.
Side by side they go again. And just in front of them, looked like they were getting ready to go side by side as well, with Maxwell Caldwell and Isaac Love. Isaac Love has that rookie mark on him, but he is up front and running inside this top 5.
Hey, if there's somebody you want to drive behind and learn from, it's that 94 machine, 2-time defending champ of Maxwell Caldwell. Although I don't think Isaac Love's in the business of just waiting. He's going to take a peek here on the opposite end of the racetrack and try to make a move here for 3rd.
It looks like he gets a pretty decent run and then goes to look down to the inside and kind of loses some momentum there. Almost like he loses that draft just enough to just almost stunt his car's run there. But he's down to the inside looking again.
Side by side, this is the battle for 3rd. Throwing it into the corner is Isaac Love. He's going to slip up. Will he have enough off the corner? I think he will, to run away from Maxwell Caldwell. Now Caldwell's under attack from the 400 machine of Matt Schlosser.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that Caldwell there gave Isaac a little bit more room than he probably would have later in the run. Allowed him to get up there, and now Caldwell's just going to kind of cruise behind him for a little bit there.
Ooh, a little loose there in the center of the corner is Caldwell, but he saves it. Meanwhile, back up front, Justin Lewis has pulled away to about a 2nd lead on Lilith Peters. So the gap that we thought was impressive, Mike, is just growing here with Justin Lewis laying down burners lap after lap.
Yeah, he definitely is. You look back at Lilith Peters, and she's got almost a 3-second gap back to Isaac Love there.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? We think 3 seconds, that's a big lead all in itself. And then you tack on a whole nother second till you get to the leader of the race. Seems like Lilith would have this one in the bag here, at least very early on, right? If it wasn't for Justin Lewis, but he's so much better than the rest of the field right now.
I mean, if you're just tuning in and you see the view a little while ago of just Lilith Peters running out there, you think she's all on her own, but Justin Lewis came in and he's just been throwing down burners every lap almost.
I'm curious though to see, long run, how's that gonna work with tire wear for Justin. We have to remember though, clean air is everything, because that will affect the handling of the race car. I know these cars here in dirty air get particularly tight in the center of the corner, so you got to factor that in as the run wears on. Lewis isn't going to have that problem, but he's running so quickly, I'd be hard pressed to see him continue to lay down these fast laps over and over again.
Yeah, definitely. And we're working lap 8 here, and he is just basically putting on a clinic. Lilith Peters trying to maybe get a little different air there coming down the straightaway. Isaac Love's pulling away from Caldwell, so he's got about a little over half a second gap. Then Caldwell and Schlosser are kind of hooked up a little bit. I mean, we were talking about drafting earlier, but these guys can get hooked up. They might be able to start to at least make a little dent into this little gap the leader has.
Well, if I'm inside the top 5, I'm feeling pretty good about myself, because if we take a look at 6th place, there's a hornet's nest back here. A bunch of drivers here duking it out for position behind Matthew McMeekin. Look at that 2x2 here. Got Austin Call side by side with Steven Johnson, Barrett Flo side by side with Yarborough. This is where some tempers can start flaring back here, and there it is. There's a bump. Yarborough into Barrett Flo.
Yeah, Yarborough just got hip checked almost into that outside wall a little bit and caught it again. Mike Peters can't be liking what he's seeing right there.
And that's what we talked about. The exit of these corners, especially at turns 1 and 3. If you don't get your exit right there, you are more than likely ready to hit the wall on exit. And Yarborough, of course, that was just a chain of events happening, right? Gets booped out of the way by Barrett Flo, and then is out of the groove, and then hits the wall off the exit. Oh, just a terrible sequence of events there. For Joshua Yarborough. He's all the way back to 14th now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's just like you were saying. Indy's one of those tracks that you kind of want to get in a groove, because the corners are farther apart than most oval tracks, like, oh, he gets checked again a little bit there.
That's Jeremy Flanagan getting into the side of the 77. Looks like Yarborough's getting autographs from everybody on that driver's side door as they go by him. Just needs to settle in here, but don't look now. Here comes Todd Merkel looking to make a move here on Yarborough.
Todd Merkel had a little bit of a run. He was up there behind Mike Peters, and then looked like he got a little bit loose, lost all that momentum, and now he's back here in 16th position. And as we were talking earlier about Trevor Dalton, you said he's one guy to watch. He's up 8 positions inside the top 10 right now.
Currently, your biggest mover of the race is Trevor Dalton, and I don't know if it was just because he didn't have a great line for qualifying or what. It was just very abnormal to see that 30 Toyota Camry that far back in the field to start a race, but very good rebound here. Man, I just need to stop talking. Very good rebound early as he makes a great save coming out of that corner.
Apparently, we just can't talk about these guys anymore. Behind them, we've got Steven Johnson and Adam Lowe side by side. Mike Peters sitting just behind them.
This trio of drivers here Lowe, Johnson, Peters, they're all in my mind like dark horse championship contenders, and they just need to get consistently up inside the top 5. Every week they show speed wherever we go. It's just a matter of can Lady Luck be on their side for the duration of the event. So it's not surprising to see these 3 drivers nose to tail here from, let's see, this is 11th, 12th, and 13th on the racetrack.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not something it's not something we're not used to seeing anyway. But as you were talking championship, these guys get quite a few drop weeks. So if they show up every week, all they have to do is string together a few of them, and they're right up in that championship hunt there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I, if I remember correctly, I think it's like 4 drop weeks.
Yeah.
And of course, their summer series is the shorter of their 2 series that they run in a calendar year. So SCL is putting on a great show here during the summertime. And I'll tell you what, Justin Lewis is putting on a great show here at Indianapolis. He's almost 2 seconds in front of Lilith Peters now.
Yeah, I mean, jump on board here, and Lilith can barely see that blue car in front of her. Like, he is just driving away. Over 2 seconds now. But Lilith has got almost 3 back to Isaac Love there as he gets into the wall a little bit there.
And these 3 drivers have really found a rhythm, right? They don't have any pressure behind them. They don't have too much pressure, really, to move and catch the person in front of them. I'm really impressed with Isaac Love because a 62 machine, again, is one of those week in and week out. We seem to talk about Isaac quite a bit with SCL competition, but not necessarily, in the winner circle. So is this the day where Love strings it all together? I don't know, because 3rd place seems to be far, far away from Justin Lewis. Back here, this is a battle for 4th that we've documented, and it looks like the 400 machine of Matt Schlosser's just sort of content to ride behind Maxwell Caldwell.
Yeah, 16 laps in, you've got to be thinking a lot of these drivers are starting to feel that wear on their tires.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
and especially, you would think a guy like Justin Lewis, right, who's been running as hard as he's been running, but even these guys further on back in the field who've been battling with one another, that can wear down your tires pretty quickly.
Yeah, you got to be wondering, like Trevor Dalton, who worked his way through the field. Barrett Flo's been inside, outside, all over the track. I mean, how much wear is that going to put on your tires? And when are we going to see that first pit stop here?
Yeah, I'm really interested in seeing that as well. I'm going to try to get some info here for us up in the booth when it comes to fuel, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it.
Trevor Dalton to the inside of Chad Jones now, and try and get another spot here, side by side through the corner. Dalton slides up a little bit, like he almost got sucked up into the 75 there, trying to make his way through the corner. Mike Peters just behind this battle. Adam Lowe behind him. Go back through the field a little bit. A guy that was the fastest in practice, the 777 here of Michael Caffrey, hasn't really had the race speed that he showed in that practice session that was up. But he's going to go down to the inside and try and pass Yarborough here. Yarborough up to the wall, and side by side they go.
There's a lot of 7s, Mike, in this battle right now between the 77 and the 777 of Yarborough and Caffrey going back and forth.
Yeah, and Yarborough's going the wrong way. He's the biggest, almost the biggest faller of the race right now. Down 8 spots.
A driver
through-
who's... Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, just go back through the field a little bit, give these guys battling back here towards the back at least a little bit of screen time here.
William Salamone back here, and your Guns N' Roses number 43. I like that paint scheme. Followed by the 716 machine. That's Matt Metler. That's our guy back there. He's down 7 from where he started this evening.
Lee Campbell, the 014, down 11, had a good qualifying run. Just hasn't been able to find that race pace that he was looking for. Jonathan Casebeer in the 05. And Bruno Latour brings up the rear of the field here, but out on track trying to log some laps here in this series.
And they're all chasing Justin Lewis, who has ran out to a 2.3 second lead now on Lilith Peters. This Lewis train is not stopping, Mike. He's just continuing to lay down blazing laps in comparison to the field.
Yeah, the only one that, well, I guess I can't say that. Looking at the last lap, Isaac Love was 0.3 faster. But he is still 5 seconds back.
Yeah, 0.3 in a gap that's 5 seconds big. That's all well and good. I guess you have to take the small victories where they come.
Well, that's kind of the way it works. I mean, we had in a race I was calling over the weekend, guy had just catastrophe, got caught up in like 3 cautions. He still went out and threw down the fastest lap of the race, and it was just kind of one of those things like, well, if I'm not gonna win, at least I can be, the fastest on track.
Well, there you go. There you go. And Isaac Love cruising right now. Not a lot of pressure behind. Open road in front of him. This battle back here is starting to heat up a little bit. Maxwell Caldwell is not just... There's not just one car behind him anymore. There's 4 drivers behind him.
Yeah, that little group there of Caldwell and Slosser was kind of pulling away, and now all of a sudden McMeeka and Call and Flo are all starting to creep in. We'll see if anything comes to fruition once they kind of get caught up. Because we talked earlier about some of the veterans. Barrett Flo, you told me one of the first races I called is he's the guy that kind of closes the race, not so much in the beginning, but by the end of the race you're going to want to look and see where he's at. And he's already moving up 3 positions, kind of just cruising back here, not really in a hurry or anything, but still improving his position almost with every lap.
Oh yeah, Barrett's definitely a long run kind of guy, so definitely is that would be a battle for 7th if it were to happen. But I tell you what, we just got done talking about Isaac Love. Something must have happened to that 62 machine, because that gap he had on 4th is absolutely gone.
Yeah, it's either that or the drivers behind him, once they got that draft going, they started to improve drastically as they ran. Maxwell Caldwell was a 53.39 to Isaac Love's 53.81. So definitely got some more speed going in there.
That's crazy. That 62 machine has lost a ton of ground. And look at him. This is this is classic Indianapolis, doing the snake weave down the backstretch.
Yeah, definitely. They were trying to break that draft, trying everything he could, because he knows who's behind him.
Yeah, everybody, right? The rest of the top 10 seems to be hunting him down. But yeah, Maxwell Caldwell, you can see here, look at this cam. And keep a steady line here down the front stretch. Ooh, Is there a bump?
No.
Oh, 62 just gets loose.
I think I might get loose if I saw a car coming that quick at my rear bumper there, though. Pulls out,
Isaac
jumps behind
Love.
him, though.
Yeah, he'll lose a position here to Maxwell Caldwell. These two, well, I don't want to say two, these four now are battling a whole 3 seconds behind Lilith Peters, who is in second place right now. But this battle wears on now for the fourth position, as Isaac Love's not done defending. He's got Matt Schlosser and Matthew McMeekin also behind him.
Yeah, definitely checking through here on the YouTube chat. We got a few people cheering for Chris Vanderplatz there, Autumn Jones and Regan Jones. Michael Matta is cheering for Stephen Johnson. Case Bears on the move is what John Does Work says.
Yeah, these drivers are trying to put things together, as I think we're starting to see these comers and goers, as we talked about at the top of the show, with long run speed.
Yeah, you can kind of see Lilith Peters starting to fade back a little bit here. Justin Lewis is out to a 3.6 second lead. Ooh, Peters into the wall.
Ooh. That's crazy. I just can't believe how far away Justin Lewis is driven from the competition, but this is a battle here for 7th, as Barrett Flo now makes a pass on Austin Call. Chalk up one more for Barrett Flo.
Definitely, and these guys battling back here as well. Justin Horton and Chad Jones side by side. Todd Merkel just behind them. We're getting close to that halfway mark.
These drivers are putting on a show right now. We've went 26 laps, caution free of this 65 lap event, and there's always action. And it just seems to be there's little battles everywhere all the way around this racetrack.
Yeah, let's jump up here. And it looks like Lilith Peters is starting to pull away again from Maxwell Caldwell. That gap was a little bit shorter, but now he's back on the move, or Caldwell's falling back, as he is now a little over 2 seconds behind Peters.
That's definitely going to be interesting to see. As I see there's a lot of driver chatter on the radio. Can't exactly hear what's going on, but I got a feeling we're going to have green flag pit stops here soon. So these drivers are trying to figure out where they are in terms of race pace, and if undercutting the field now is something worth doing.
Yeah, I really wasn't even thinking about that until you just said it. Like, we're almost halfway through the race, so you know they can make it this far. So do you pit a little early if you know you have, say, 6 or 7 laps left of fuel here? Or do you run it till it basically is dry and then see where that takes you?
Well, I think if you're Lilith Peters, right, you don't have a choice. You have to undercut Justin Lewis. The lead is 3 points. I can't believe I'm looking at that. 3.7 seconds and growing between that 101 and the 07 machine. So you have to undercut to try to gain some of that, if not all of that back. So it's just a matter of when is that magic number for these race drivers or race car drivers. I don't know. We don't have that info up in the booth, but I'm sure it will definitely play out here within the next 10 laps or so. You would think, wow.
Well, Justin Lewis got a little bit loose there around that lap car. And it looks like Chris Vanderplatz decided, hey, it's enough. I'm going to bring her on in. Looks like he had a little bit of a breakdown to get down to pit road speed there, but he's the first one in. We'll see what happens with the rest of the field here. Get just to Working just about to lap 30 here momentarily. Oh, Lilith Peters comes in.
And there it is. Peters coming down pit road.
Austin Call.
So these drivers are experiencing about 2 seconds worth of fall off from their best lap to what they are currently running here in the race. So depending on how long Justin Lewis stays out, Lilith is going to have to maximize her exit speed, getting off of pit road, and then start to lay down burners in order to make up this gap to the 07.
Definitely has to do something different, because right now Justin Lewis is holding all the cards.
Oh yeah, and he can go as long as he wants, right? Where if he feels that confident in his raw speed, like, oh, okay, you can undercut me, I don't care. He's gonna go to lap, let's say 33 or 34, and then you know you're gonna make it. He's very confident that I'm sure he'll be able to drive right back up to where he needs to be.
Definitely. And the other thing about Indy is, you know, we're talking 54, 55-second lap times. When you're on pit road, looks like the average pit stop's going to be a little over 50 seconds. So you're not going to quite lose a lap if you can get back up to speed pretty quickly. So Lilith Peters and Austin Call both made their pit stops and are at the tail end of the lead lap.
And the question is, how hard do you push off pit road? I mean, we haven't even talked about the unique pit road entry and exit of Indianapolis, where, yes, you fly off of turn 4, you make that hard turn down pit road, but the access road on exit, you seemingly have to wait forever in order to merge back on to the racing surface on the backstretch. And you can make or lose a ton of time depending on how aggressive you are on pit exit.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Those access roads are notorious for drivers gassing up a little bit too soon and spinning it right around. So you have to be careful on that. You don't want to lose a ton of time, but you don't want to get on the gas a little too heavy and wind up costing yourself the race either.
Here comes the leader, Justin Lewis, down pit road. He's got to get this thing woed down. The pit road speed looks like everything is normal. We're going to take a look at the 07 and see where Lilith Peters carves into this lead. Was it enough time for the 101 to track down the 07?
Yeah, we'll see what happens. And right now, Maxwell Caldwell, Matt Schlosser, Barrett Flo, Isaac Love all still hanging out here on track.
They're hoping for a yellow. They're hoping for one of those cars to spin on those access roads that we just talked about. Because then you trap the field lap down, you get a free pit stop, and you're feeling pretty good right now, at least if you're Caldwell, because you've led some laps. Remember, this is old Winston Cup Series points system, so it does benefit you to lead a lap.
As we were talking about that, Justin Lewis coming back on track here through that access road, trying to get as much time as he can.
Lilith Peters. Lilith digging.
Oh. She was going for all she could right there. Got a little sideways on exit, but that gap between those two is under a second and a half. So.
Well, she knew, right? She knew that she had to pass that 07 machine if she wanted a shot to win this. Now we're going to start to see, presumably, this lead increasing. Wow. You could just tell how hard Lilith was digging trying to get that 07.
Yeah, she knew that was going to be the race there, especially the way these guys have been running. Everybody's been clean, respectful, nothing, too bad going on here. And now that gap is kind of evened out here. It's 119 right at the moment, 120.
Yeah, we haven't talked about maybe the prospect of, is Lilith just close enough to where we're going to start to see the effects of draft come off of the 07, sort of bring her back into this mix. She might be just close enough.
It looks like she might be. That gap is kind of stabilized right there, but Maxwell Caldwell is still running for all he can right now.
Yeah, of course, we were paying attention to that battle, assuming, right, that everything cycles back around, and that would be the battle for the lead. Here comes Caldwell down pit road. He's going to hand over the lead to Schlosser, and he's going to be able to lead a lap as Caldwell locks him up going down pit road.
So that leaves 5 cars that have not pit yet. Schlosser, Merkel, Horton, Hobson, and Casebeer.
Be hard pressed to see a yellow come out. These drivers are more spread out now than what they've been all race. So Schlosser right now and company, they're just hoping that a yellow comes out. Maybe it starts raining at a corner of this racetrack to bring out a yellow.
Yeah, I think it's raining. It's always raining, right? Especially when you're in the lead.
Yeah. Schlosser locks him up. Coming down pit road in that 400 machine.
Horton stays out. Merkel stays out. Hobson in. Horton will lead that lap.
Yep, chalk up a bonus point. Not a lot has went right for that 64 machine today. We haven't talked a lot about Justin. So at least something's gone right in terms of points gathering. He gets 1 extra for today.
Yeah, I mean that could be. That's an all important point though. You know, when you're talking the old Winston Cup points, you know, you need to get everything you can. So 1 bonus point could mean, you know, 1 or 2 positions depending on how it shakes out towards the end of the season.
So it's Horton, Merkel, and Casebeer up front. As you can see, Horton going down pit road. Man, these drivers towards the back, they're feeling so generous to one another. They said, okay, I got my bonus point. Now you, Todd, can go get one. And so Todd Merkel gets a bonus point for leading a lap.
And it looks like Casebeer's going to do the same thing if Merkel can come down pit road, but he does not. He stays out again.
It's crazy. 38 laps, right? So
wow.
They can go a long way, apparently.
Yeah, it looks like he's...
I don't want to jinx him.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Merkel coming through turn 4. Gonna make that hard left. Yep.
Yes.
Down pit road is Todd Merkel. Now will it be will it be Jonathan Casebeer's turn? No, he's gonna pit.
So that goes back to Justin Lewis now.
Yep, Justin Lewis will come flying here off of turn 4. Ooh, Lilith Peters tags the wall there coming out of 4.
Yeah, that's gonna.
For anybody interested, though, Todd Merkel did lead that lap, so Todd staying out for 2 laps led today. But we're gonna have more of the Justin Lewis show here up front.
Definitely, we will. So as they cycle through here, we're gonna go ahead and step aside for our one and only commercial break and come back and bring you the end of this SCL Winston Cup Series race at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. right, welcome back everybody to the SCL Winston Cup Series race from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Didn't miss anything. Basically, the story of the race is Justin Lewis. He was close for a little while, but now he is out to over a 3-second lead once again.
Oh yeah, it's increased to 3.3 seconds. Lilith Peters doing everything that she can in that 101 machine, but it just doesn't look like it's enough. And never mind, there's a caution. There's a caution on the racetrack. Oh my goodness, we came back just in time. Chris Vanderplatz, maybe.
Looks like it. No, sounds like he started to lock up the brakes a little bit.
Huh.
Went right through pit entry there and got stuck.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna blame that one on John in the YouTube chat, because just looked over and he goes, "We need a caution. I see debris on the track."
Well, I don't know if I don't know if Chris hit that debris or what. I mean, he was all by himself, and that car definitely got squirrely. So that's odd. We'll put it that way. So these drivers are going to have to stack up, and Mike, you got to assume they all go back down pit road, right?
I would say you have to, right? 22 laps to go. Get fresh tires. I don't know how you're saying. I mean, unless you're halfway through the field, you know, you might see something there. Which, speaking of which, I was just looking back here. Maxwell Caldwell. Don't know what happened, but he was up towards the front. And now he's in 24th.
Well, remember, we saw Maxwell come down pit road and he locked up his stuff getting onto the pit lane. So perhaps he was nabbed for speeding.
Oh, he was 55 seconds. Yeah. Oh, he still comes down. I was going to say, unless you're back there, then maybe. So right now, Todd Merkel, AJ Hobson, and Jonathan Casebeer is the only one staying out at the moment. I don't know. I think you have to. I think you have to come to pit road.
Well, the way I see it is these drivers are the last of the drivers that we covered coming down pit road. So they were already in the back, and they have the least amount of green flag coverage on their tires. So if clean air is all the difference, maybe Todd Merkel's got something for these competitors tonight. We'll have to see, but it's so, I mean, you got a guy like Justin Lewis who's been running away from the field. You're really going to have to defend well with, it'll be probably like 19 laps to go when we go back under green.
Yeah, you're definitely going to stay side by side as much as possible if you're these top two drivers, to try and block as much of the track with how fast Justin Lewis has been. And you talked earlier, you know, fresh air. You know, you get that clean air, and maybe that's just what Hobson and Merkel need, just that fresh air, and they can have a different view of the track here. But I mean, this is the first time we're going to see Justin Lewis back in traffic too.
Yeah, cautions breed cautions, and this is a reason. You know, this is a reason why, right? You have three drivers who have either been mid to the back of the pack all day. I love the Lightning McQueen Rusty's look from AJ Hobson. By the way, you can actually see the mouth on the front of that car. But these drivers are gonna have to figure out very quickly. Look at that, eyeballs and everything. But you're gonna have to figure out very quickly how to drive up front and defend well, because these drivers behind you mean business.
Yeah, I mean, you know the drivers behind you have speed, and you've got two of the faster ones, Justin Lewis and Lilith Peters. Looks like they're hooked up in that outside row in row 2 and 3, so they'll probably be trying to get by Hobson as quick as possible.
Yeah, lights are out on the pace car, which means we will be going back to green here in this 65 lap event with 19 laps to go here at Indianapolis. If you're just joining us, we've been green up until this point, and the first 3 drivers on the field did not pit, but they have very minimum green flag laps on their tires, and Justin Lewis has been head and shoulders to the class of the field today, so we're going to see how it all shakes out.
Pace car should be making that left-hand turn momentarily. Todd Merkel with the button. And he is down and away. That outside lane gets a little bit stacked up there with Justin Lewis and AJ Hobson. Lewis goes down to the inside, tries to make the pass on Hobson. Hobson slides down in front of him there as well. Lilith Peters just to the outside of Lewis.
And this can be where we see Peters be super aggressive with that 07. If you can get by him here, that would mean a lot in terms of the end of this race. I know we're all chasing Todd Merkel right now, but the 2 drivers who've been in front of everybody are now going to have to duke it out in 3rd and 4th.
Yeah, if you're Lilith Peters, you have got to be thinking, all right, I have to get by him. I have to get by him. Because once she's by him, she knows she's the fastest car of the other 2 from the way they've been running. So, but right now, she's just got a front view of Justin Lewis right now.
Yes, AJ Hobson defending well from 2nd place as Lewis misses the corner. He's all the way up into the outside fence. Hemorrhaging positions now. Back to 5th, 6th, and 7th now on the heels of the guy who hasn't made the mistake all night long. Now is in the outside wall. Huge crash here at Indianapolis. Going to involve 2 drivers who are racing very well today, I believe. The other one is the 62 machine of Isaac Love.
You can see Isaac Love coming in here. Gonna go get past Lewis there. Slides up just a little bit, but nothing too major here. And then just kind of checks again and keeps sliding up the track with nowhere really to go.
Lewis corrects it. Right in front of Mike Peters there. Look at this.
Mike Peters just drives right through it.
Were we 3 wide?
Wow. Oh, now they're wrecking back here too.
Oh, they're wrecking here again. A huge incident. I thought that was big enough to bring out the yellow. This one certainly is. It's, oh my goodness, it's Trevor Dalton and Austin Cole getting into it.
Yeah, and down to his inside, Matt Schlosser looks like he's trying to make it 3 wide down here. Got the, what's that, the 53 back there?
Yeah, that's the 53 machine. But what happens back here?
He's still 3 wide. Austin Cole goes down into Trevor Dalton, into Matt Schlosser. It kind of corrected a little bit. It looks like Dalton's still pretty loose there.
Matthew McMeekin squeaks by.
It looks like Like
hard
Dalton,
hit.
yeah,
Wow.
Dalton was just trying to stay out of the way, get off the off that inside car there, and just goes into that wall. The 75 gets clipped and sends him around. Everybody else trying to check up.
Wow. Well, all right. So back-to-back laps, we saw incidents coming off of turn 2.
On board now with Craig Forsythe. You can kind of see in front, everybody kind of bouncing around 3 wide there. So now we reset it all over again.
Yeah, everybody take a breather. They're all chasing Todd Merkel, who it has been well documented, because it's a story I like to tell for SCL Winston Cup Series action. Todd Merkel has fielded the defending champion, 2-time defending champion of this series, with his race team, with Merkel Racing Engines being on the hood. And he's done a lot in order to build a competitive team. And it seems like week in and week out, the drivers that race for Todd have the utmost respect for him as an owner. And yet, it's that bright yellow number 2 machine that tends to get in the worst luck week in and week out. Todd always seems to have speed, but Lady Luck is not a resident, I would say, of the Merkel household. And Todd's been through it. I mean, he's had great qualifying efforts, seen dashed away because of other people's mistakes. He's been very competitive at races where strategies just don't go his way. And here we are with 15 laps to go. He takes the gamble to say, you know what, I'm not pitting twice. I have very few laps on my tires. I'm going to take the lead. And he drove away from the field that last little green flag stint we just had. Can it be today where Todd Merkel gets the W? That would be huge if he does it here at Indy.
There's only one problem with that, and that's just to his outside and Lilith Peters. Starting on the front row now, so there's nobody to play defense with Todd there.
Yeah.
So we'll see if Merkel's able to get that jump and get out in front of Lilith Peters. He can get out there. It looks like he seems to have a pretty decent car in that clean air.
Yeah, absolutely. And for any of our viewers that are watching that are interested, Justin Lewis in that 07 machine did go down pit road that last time. There's a healthy number of cars who went down pit road during this last caution. So some fresh tires for that 07. We'll see how he carves his way back up through the field. Looks like we're going to get the green here with 13 laps to go. Oh, I'm so excited. A lot of good stories up here inside the top 10.
Yeah, Hobson was able to hold on pretty well. Case Bear as well. Those both up 21 positions.
Yeah, they did defend very, very well. Be curious to see how they are in this restart. You know, AJ Hobson, if he can stay on that back bumper of Merkel and really time this start, he could have a shot at Lilith Peters. Just be to the inside quarter panel, and then you have the preferred line there in turn 1. So don't count that 62 machine or 63 machine out just yet. For these drivers are going to give it their all here as laps are winding down.
They definitely are that. 13 to go when we get that green flag. We thought they were racing hard before. I'm going to say everybody's going to be racing even harder these last 14 laps here.
Pace car is off. 2 by 2 they come. Todd Merkel will lead them down in the Merkel Racing Engines number 2 Ford. side by side. He's got the button, and he is on his way here at Indianapolis, followed by Lilith Peters and AJ Hobson.
And Lilith Peters staying behind him quite a ways there. He got a pretty good jump. AJ Hobson falls in line as well. Case Bear gonna have to defend from Adam Lowe.
The battle rages now for the 5th position. The 6th position. Look at Lilith Peters there up front blocking AJ Hobson. AJ saying, I'm not done yet. I'm up here in the podium. I want a little bit more. Lilith peeking to the inside.
Down to the inside she goes, and she's going to take that lead from Merkel. Merkel back to second. Hobson as a kind of...
Huge crash in the back of the field.
Oh.
Justin Lewis is in the middle of it.
It looks like it's just in front of Justin Lewis here.
I think it's going to happen off the exit of 4.
Yeah, so here we go.
Not something we clear, bud.
Got Love, Yarborough.
Ooh,
Love gets loose.
big time loose there. Look at that.
Yarborough looks like he clips the wall a little bit. Isaac's just slow.
This is turn 4 here.
Yep.
I don't even. There were like 3 cars that just basically died coming off of 3, and then
Yarborough
Ooh.
gets into the back.
Yarborough in the back. 64 into Yarborough. Into Lewis. Into Love. Back across the track.
And this hit. Ooh.
Oof.
I'll see a black clear for sliding in the pits.
The
Trevor
30,
Dalton
Trevor
involved.
Dalton.
The 71 of Bruno Latour involved too. Man.
Bruno's thinking I can just speed down pit road, right, and be safe, but
Yeah.
couldn't quite make it. Well, we went a long time with no cautions, and now the last 10 laps of this event, we've seen 3.
Yeah. Like I said, we thought hard racing before, and now look what we have. Everybody racing hard for the same positions. Everybody's getting a little bit loose on those different strategy tires they have. You got some guys last pit on lap 44, some on 50.
Some on 38 and 36. Shout out to those drivers. That Merkel, Hobson, Case-Beer. They've been stellar on those tires up front, defending very well.
Yeah, I mean, when we were talking about what strategy are you going to do, and those guys went, we're going to stay out. I mean, it's going to be a net positive for them regardless. I mean, otherwise they would have pitted, been back in the field, and probably involved in a couple of those cautions there, but they were able to get out front and keep their car clean.
Yeah, just taking a look here through the top 10. Just some stories to make note of. Craig Forsythe back there in 9th. He's 13 up from where he started. Mentioned him a little bit earlier. Will Salmon in the 10th position in that Guns N' Roses Chevrolet. Just outside the top 10 is Matt Mettler. Good run for him. Michael Caffrey in that 777 machine, also in front of a couple heavy hitters there, Steven Johnson and Maxwell Caldwell. So good run for some of these guys.
Yeah, we don't necessarily hear about some of the drivers there, but pace lights are out. We're going to get stacked up and ready to go. Lewis Peters will take the inside lane, Todd Merkel to the outside.
And I think if you're... Oh, go ahead, Mike.
Oh, I was gonna say, so will it be a repeat winner here, or will one of these other new faces up front bring home the win?
Yeah, if you're Lilith Peters, you're feeling pretty good about your chances, right? Justin Lewis way back in the field, and you're racing against drivers who are on older tires than you. And your nearest competition has to fight through a couple of those drivers still. So I think Lilith is at least probably hoping that this thing stays green from here to the end.
Yeah, especially if she can get that jump she had earlier. This is such a long track when you're under caution.
I know, it's a broadcaster's nightmare, right? It's like we can only talk about so many things.
I mean, you're talking, 53 seconds a lap down to 2 minutes.
Well, lights are off on the pace car. It will make that turn down pit road. Your front runners are the same as before, only flip-flopped. It's Lilith Peters now with the button. The one in charge going to take the green flag here at Indy. AJ Hobson looking to get a good jump behind her. Let's see how this all shakes out. Todd Merkel on the outside doesn't quite get a good run, and Peters is off and away.
And Peters got a huge jump there. And Merkel's going to be having to hold on to Hobson here as Hobson's... Ooh, and they're wrecking behind him. Looks like Matt Metler into the wall.
Oh,
Yarborough.
Just talking to...
See what happens here. Down to the inside goes Matt. Oh, the 44 gets a little loose. The 777. Oh, I could have swore that was his car. Yarborough here. Oh, that's why. Who was Matt? That's stacked them all up right there.
It's not a super clean restart from either lane, really.
44 down to the inside. Bumps him 2 or 3 times there, sends him around. That's Steven Johnson. So I'm going to say we're going to be just shy of a green-white checker here.
Yeah. Well, how's your day going, Mike? I think it doesn't take too many. It doesn't take too many yellows here at Indy to run out of things to talk about. But we want to thank the viewers out there in YouTube land that are watching SCL action. They put on a great show. We've seen a little bit of everything today, but yeah, we up here in the booth, we're ready to see some green flag racing as Justin Lewis's day just goes from bad to worse. Cars all crinkled up. We do have one fast repair, so we'll see if he takes it. No.
Well, as we go through here and talk about drivers, I think we're gonna give the under pressure washing tough luck award. I think Isaac Love. He was running really well and got put in a bad position by Justin Lewis there, and has been trying to battle back ever since, and not quite up to where he should be, but especially with the runs he's had.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick for that award here tonight. I know just a lot of our viewers would probably say, "Oh, why not Justin Lewis?" Well, Justin Lewis, you know, he's a factor in nearly every race we go to. It won't be a surprise. It won't surprise anybody to see that 07 up front next week when we're together again. But if you're a rookie here and you're running podium all day, you want to finish podium by the end of the race. And Isaac Love doesn't look like he's going to have that opportunity in that 62 Chevrolet.
Definitely does not. Looks like he's took his fast repair and now is sitting on pit lane trying to get that car fixed. He's been on there for almost 10 minutes. So lights are out on the pace car. We'll make one more lap around here and we'll get the green with 5 to go.
Yeah, definitely am anxious to see where this is all going to shake out. These drivers are going to be battling here for real estate that's getting smaller and smaller as the laps wind down.
Hey Isaac, how's it going, man?
Good. How you doing?
Oh, not too bad. Hey, heck of a run today. You are the under pressure washing tough luck award winner tonight. But how's the track treating you out there? And you were able to stay up there in the top 3 for quite a while.
Well, it took a little bit to get used to, but I think the main thing to focus on this track was definitely getting the run off of 2 and 4. And you know, definitely Aero had a big thing to do with the racing today. But I didn't have any luck. I thought the day was going pretty good because I hadn't had any luck in the past races, but obviously the bad luck keeps coming.
Definitely does. Well, I'll let you go and we'll get this race back to Green Flag Racing. But I mean, congrats on winning that tough luck award. But you were up front. You definitely had your name out there for quite a while, and you got quite a lot of screen time.
Well, I really appreciate it.
All right, talk to you later. We are going to be back under green as Lilith Peters has the button. See if she can get that jump she had before. Down and away.
Oh, yep. I'm so anxious to get going here, Mike. We've been under caution for so long. 2x2 going from second on back. Peters does get the jump. Oh! Match Schlosser hard in the outside vents. And we're immediately back under caution here at Indianapolis.
We'll get a restart here. Lilith Peters gets her jump. Hobson. Oh, K-Spear. K-Spear.
I mean, Adam Lowe. It starts with Adam Lowe. He checks up and tries to avoid the slower car of Merkel in front of him, right? Remember, he's the first guy on fresh. He's trying to get around these guys. He anticipates early braking, messes up his corner.
Yeah, it looked like he was going to try and go down to the inside. I mean, if you look here, he gets going, and then you'll see it here in just a second. Looks like he's anticipating that Hobson will kind of fade back a little ways. And it just doesn't come to fruition right after the start-finish line here. You'll see him slide to the inside of Merkel right here. And then he sees Hobson there, checks up so he doesn't run into him. K-Spear gets a run, goes to the inside, and just gets in that left rear quarter panel and turns him around, and then he bounces into Schlosser, and away we go.
Barrett Flo just squeaks on by that incident. He had a good look at everything.
So now we are on a green-white checker.
Yeah, looks like a natural green-white checkered by the looks of it. So if they wreck again here, Mike, we're gonna be privy to another one, but that will be the one and only overtime attempt, as this SCL Winston Cup Series only does one green-white checkered attempt, but we're going to get treated to two. One coming naturally, and the other one in anticipation of another wreck. Going to happen perhaps in NASCAR overtime.
You know, it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen. I think Lilith Peters doesn't care one way or the other with the jumps that she's been getting on these restarts. You're going to have to show patience in the back half of the field, but it looks like they kind of get stacked up a little bit and just get a little bit too impatient and try and move around a little bit too much before everybody's up to speed, and that's what's caused these last few cautions here.
Oh yeah, and you got to factor in, you know, these drivers are, especially the ones who are out there on particularly older stuff, you're going to have tire spin. That's not something that you can just avoid. At this point in the race, you've raced really hard. You've put a lot of green flag laps on those tires, and you're just not going to be as grippy as we will actually go into overtime. We're going to go over the racing distance. So this is it, Mike. This is it. This is going to be the one and only green-white checkered attempt. I thought we were going to be able to get it done within the regularly scheduled distance, but we are going to go to NASCAR overtime.
Well, we'll see. It all comes down to these final couple laps here. Well, if Peters can get the jump that she's been getting, I think it's all but over for the rest of the field. Todd Merkel's been able to hang on fairly well, and you have Jonathan Casebeer and AJ Hobson elected to not pit and are inside the top four. So heck of a run by those guys, and some decision making as well.
Yeah, a lot of great stories in the top 10. Will Salmon, Lee Campbell, Michael Caffrey, Jeremy Hannigan. You know, those drivers are about 7th through 10th. A lot of great stories there. But the question is, does Todd Merkel have anything for Lilith Peters on this restart? He's going to have to time this one perfectly if he's going to have a shot to win.
Lilith Peters has the button. Pace car will make that hard left-hand turn, and we'll see if she can get out to the lead she's been getting. Todd Merkel just to her outside. Brings him on down. Stacks him up a little bit. Lilith Peters is down and away, and we are green flag racing. Todd Merkel hanging out there on the outside, hops into his inside. Side by side they go.
Jostling now from second on back, 2 by 2 behind Lilith Peters. Gonna attack turn 1. Everybody plays nice. Merkel gets the run on that high line. Is he able to clear the 63? Yes, he is. Fighting down the backstretch.
Yeah, looking back through the field just a little bit, Casebeer is all over, is getting run over by Parrott Flo and Will Salmon there. Salomon.
Yeah, remember these drivers up front, they have less laps on their tires than the drivers, or more laps on their tires rather than the drivers behind them. They're all chasing Lilith Peters. If she can get the white flag, the next flag will end it. Peters now stretching out to an 0.8 of a second lead over Todd Merkel. White flag to go here from Indy.
We're racing back to checkers here. Looking back through the field, we got some guys battling. Michael Caffrey down to the inside of Lee Campbell there, trying to get a little bit of room here as they're kind of bouncing around towards the back. We're 3 wide right here as the 18 of Austin Call trying to get some positions there, gets a little loose, and they are stacked back up. But up front, it's Lilith Peters. Mike Peters going to try and get up to that second spot. Todd Merkel holding on pretty well here.
Todd Merkel blocking like a fiend down the backstretch, trying to stave off Mike Peters for second place. They're all chasing Lilith Peters, who will make the climb out of turn 4, down the iconic front stretch, and it's Lilith Peters gonna take the win here at Indianapolis, followed by, let's see at the line, Todd Merkel gets second place, followed by Mike Peters.
Barrett Flo and AJ Hobson round out that top 5. Wow. AJ Hobson up 19 spots to finish in that 5th position.
What a run by those 3 drivers in particular who decided to stay out and only pit one time during tonight's event. Jonathan Casebeer is going to bring it home 7th, AJ Hobson 5th, and of course Todd Merkel will finish 2nd. What a gamble paying off by those drivers.
Yeah, they had to do something to figure out some way to get up there and compete with Lilith Peters and Justin Lewis. Justin Lewis, yes, he was probably deserving of the Tough Luck Award, but he kind of caused a little bit of his own problems when he got stuck back there in traffic. But Lilith Peters had a pretty dominant car herself here.
Yeah, certainly was the best of the field, except for Justin Lewis for the majority of the first half of this event, but kept the car clean and was able to bring it home P1. We're going to see if we can get any interviews here. I know that Mike Peters in the 95 is in race chat, so we can try to bring our 3rd place finisher up here. Mike, it's Zach and Mike up here in the booth. You have a copy?
Hey, I do. We're working on our parking here. Todd's almost there.
It's a process, but it certainly was a process for you tonight, as you were able to sort of weave through the chaos at the second half of this event to come back and finish 3rd. Talk to the fans tonight about your experience at Indy.
Well, I'm going to start off with my favorite color is blue, but I'm starting to think that my most desired color is green, because towards the end there, I was really looking forward to hopefully trying to dice my way back through everything under green. But most of the time, it was just kind of some really risky things on restarts there that I wasn't a big fan of. But somehow we survived that, and yeah, got to the end there. So, but yeah, I was hoping we get a chance to see the tire strategy come full circle, but you know, whatever, got a 3rd somehow. I'll take it, I guess.
Yeah, you were able to sort of manage the tire strategy well as best as you could. I know you were sort of hoping for that green flag run to pan out here. What about Indianapolis suits your driving style in terms of things that you like about this racetrack? I mean, you finished 3rd, so there's got to be a few things about Indy that appeal to you.
Well, I think it was 2015 when they had the 100th running of the 500. I actually got to drive over here and got some pizza from the concession stand. It was actually pretty good. So, I mean, that's one thing I definitely like about this track. Their pizza at the concession stand. It's pretty solid. I'd rate it probably a good solid. For track food, 8 out of 10. No question.
There you go. There you go. Anybody looking for pizza reviews, we might as well dub you the official pizza reviewer here of SCL. So, taking this 3rd place finish with you moving forward into this series, what are some goals for you as this series carries on? I know it's sort of difficult to manage where you're going to be in points because there's so many drop weeks. So how do you feel your chances are when it comes to battling for a championship?
That's not even really on. I'm sure I'll probably end up missing a couple races, get busy for work or something like that. But no, my big focus here is just the community is really solid. We had 27 guys come out tonight that all of them are pretty solid. We ran the first half of that race with really no problems. And then some people I think got a little impatient on the restart, and some room for improvement and patience is there. But I mean, my big deal here is just to come out, have fun. Everybody here is super cool. Todd's awesome. The guys that run the series are awesome. All the drivers except Todd are awesome. So I mean, it's just one of those things where the whole community here is just, it's fun. So this is my fun Monday, go up to the shop and hop on the simulator / video games. It's just fun. So that's my goal, is just come out here and have fun and try to make it to the end. Otherwise, my wife and my friends and my dad, rightfully so, they make fun of me for, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I get kind of salty over the video game. But no, I mean, as long as we can continue to run good, clean races like this is fun. And that's really the thing I'm out here to do, is just try to have fun. I keep finding myself making it to the end and it winding up working out well for me. So hopefully we can keep that up.
The man who had fun today, Mike Peters. Do you have any thank you sponsors or shout outs?
Yeah, thanks to Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. I know I gave the pizza at IMS about an 8 out of 10, but if drive through at 3 o'clock in the morning, or if you want a lunch or something like that, Raising Cane's, you want some juicy, tender, delicious chicken that you can dip in some sauce, that place is fantastic. They support my program with my pro truck that I seemingly never actually race, but they support that program and the iRacing. They've actually given me a little budget to help out SCL and stuff. So Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, they're car guys just like us. If you can, support them. And then we've got this little fun RTR Mustang livery. They should be hitting dealerships this summer. If you're not familiar with Von Gitten's RTR Mustang program and you're a Mustang guy or even a muscle car guy, check out MustangRTR.com. Lots of really cool stuff there. CJE Performance has helped me out on my pro truck that hopefully I will actually get to the track. Right now I don't know what I'm doing. And then Skills Driving, if you need any fleet safety stuff, they do a lot of really cool stuff. Just take a look at skillsdriving.com. They can do all kinds of stuff. I don't know if my wife's listening. I'll get in trouble for this. I'm probably going to make her take the safety class just so that way I know she can actually use the brake pedal, the full travel of it, because we get a lot of people that don't. So I mean, skillsdriving.com, a lot of really cool stuff. But those are the main people. But mainly just, thanks to everybody that makes these worth coming out to. Some of these leagues you go run, they have like 3 or 5 people there. That's just not fun. We always have a good deep roster here. Everybody's really cool. Thanks to Josh and Adam that put it on, and all the guys that continue to come out here too. And thank you guys for continuing to broadcast it. I know sometimes it's a little painful to watch, but thanks for just everybody that makes this fun.
All right, that's Mike Peters, your 3rd place finisher tonight. Go and enjoy it.
Thanks, man.
All right, Mike. Well, I'm gonna give you Todd Merkel, the 2nd place finisher.
Good evening, everybody.
How's it going, man?
Not too shabby. I had a pretty decent one tonight for the first time in quite a while.
Yeah, that's kind of what Zach was saying. Seems like you're always mired in some incident or something that happens, but you elected to stay out, and it seemed like that was the right strategy, as you were able to kind of battle off and hold that 2nd position for the last 4 or 5 restarts.
Yeah, I could see tires weren't like wildly important, so I figured I'd hang out there as long as I could, maybe lead a lap, which I did. And then I just got fortunate. By the time that first caution came out and everybody else stopped, I only had about 4 or 5 laps on my tires at that time, so I was okay to go to the end from there.
Yeah, definitely seemed like the right call. Were you kind of thinking that if the race goes green, might as well, make it, or were you, when you came into it, did you think you were going to just make one pit stop, or kind of just take the strategy on the fly?
It was definitely going to be a strategy on the fly thing. It was all about whether there was cautions or not. I mean, I finally stopped that one time just because I was going to run out of gas, and then track position was pretty important here, and I did not want to give it up, so it worked out well for me.
Yeah, it definitely did. How were you able to hold off, Mike Peters and Barrett Flo there at the end of the race when you were on those little bit older tires?
Well, because there were so many cautions right at the end there, I only had to do it for short little spurts. If we had a long run, maybe a 10-lap run towards the end there, I'd have been in a lot more trouble than I was with those little 2-lap runs we were getting.
Well, definitely. Well, before we let you go, anybody you want to thank for that P2 finish?
Oh, as always, I want to thank first the family engine building business, Merkel Racing Engines on Long Island, New York. And my biggest sponsors on my real race cars are Ross Pistons, Driven Oil, and Liberty's Gears. And without them, I can't do the real racing. And I don't know if I'd be doing this, but I appreciate their help either way.
Definitely, man. Well, congrats on your P2 finish, and maybe we'll talk to you next week.
I hope to talk to you guys a little more often than I have. We'll catch you later. Thanks.
Yep. All right, Zach, I believe you are with Lilith Peters there.
Lilith, it's Zach and Mike up here in the booth.
Hi, Zach and Mike in the booth.
Well, for a long time, we thought we were going to talk to you being the second place finisher tonight because it seemed that Justin was in the league of his own, but misfortune found him and fortune found you towards the end of this. Talk to the viewers tonight about your experience here at Indy.
Yeah, I didn't have anything for Justin Lewis. He was way better on the quick run and way better on the long run, and I couldn't even short pin him. But I guess I'm used to cautions coming out and dealing with that without getting wrecked or wrecking myself, so I guess I'll take the win while I can get it.
Well, let me tell you, Lilith, you made that green flag pit cycle at the midpoint of this race. Probably some of the most interesting pit coverage Mike and I have ever covered up in the booth. We were documenting that very well. We said, you know, if she pits early, then we might have a chance to be able to see some battling. And when Justin merged back on the racetrack, we saw how hard you were digging to get to his back bumper, and you made it a good show. So, but certainly the back half of this event was much different than the front part of this event. What about Indianapolis suits your driving style? I mean, you take home the win today. You were up front. You were extremely competitive. There's got to be some things about this racetrack that suit you.
I don't really feel like I'm that good here, actually, but it's just a really hard track to drive, so I guess it's hard for everybody. I don't have what Lewis has, clearly, but I think you just can't overdrive it, really, at the end of the day.
Well, you were good enough to come home P1 tonight. Do you have any thank yous, sponsors, or shout outs you want to give for tonight's effort?
I'll thank my primary sponsor, Luna Steak Sauce. You can get it at foxfirefoods.com. And thanks my team, Matt, Jeremy, Justin, Horton. They didn't Jeremy got an 8. But besides that, they didn't finish too well, but it's always nice to have them in there. Thanks for broadcasting, guys.
All right. Well, that's your race winner, Lilith Peters. Go and enjoy it.
Thank you. Bye.
Well, there you have it, man.
Yeah, certainly a crazy finish to what was going to be a very straightforward race, turned very quickly into anything but that. But I had a great time.
Yeah, I didn't know exactly what to expect when you come to Indy, but these guys put on a heck of a show. The first half of the race was exciting. They were racing everywhere, side by side, comers, goers, and all sorts of things. And then towards the end, it got a little marred up there, but still, you had Todd Merkel able to hold on for second on those older tires, and Lilith Peters bringing home the win.
Yeah, great showing from these competitors here at Indianapolis. Let's go through your finishing results here tonight and cover who finished where. Of course, Peters, Merkel, and Peters, your top 3, followed by Barrett, Flo, and AJ Hobson, your top 5. Will Salomon's going to finish 6th, followed by Jonathan Casebeer. Jeremy Flanagan's going to finish 8th to 9th, with Lee Campbell in 9th and Austin Call in 10th. Stephen Johnson will bring home the number 44 Chevrolet in 11th, followed by Michael Caffrey, and Chad Jones will finish 13th. Matthew McMeekin will finish 14th, followed by Trevor Dalton in that 30 Toyota, coming home 15th. Joshua Yarborough, there he is, will finish 16th, along with Craig Forsythe 17th, Adam Lowe 18th. Your two-time defending champ, Maxwell Caldwell, did not have a second half that he was expecting. Is going to finish 19th. And then there he is, Mike, Justin Lewis, going to finish 20th for tonight's event.
Yeah, Matt Metler finishes 21st. Matt Slother back there in 22nd. Justin Horton. And then Isaac Love rounds out 24th. And you have Bruno Latour and Chris Vanderplatz round out the drivers that took the green flag. So that is the way everybody finished tonight. So from everybody here at Sim Racing Media and all the drivers of SCL and the Winston Cup Racing Series, we will look forward to seeing you guys next week back here on Monday nights. Good night, everybody.